Honourable Member for Wabag.
Opposition Party.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Grievance Blumilo this morning. I think same grievance where Mio Glorishim lo Risla floor plenty time na bami talk again. Grievance Blumilo lo law and order. Deputy Speaker, all problems where you got him lo Risla country, same problem all Narabla country all got him. These are the same problems because human beings, no matter the color of skin, they're the same. And we seem to have the same problems. The thing that, fails my understanding is that why can't the law enforcement agencies, particularly the police department, unfortunately the police minister is not there to listen to this grievance, but why can't they simply look at studies that are done in other countries and see the recommendations being made? They're the same recommendations being carried out worldwide. Now, law and order, man committee, all animals law, place committee, they're human beings who are committing those crimes, and they live in homes and they come from societies. Deputy Speaker, everywhere in the world, there's evidence, overwhelming evidence that show that if you start to arrest people, then you will have deterrence. Now, if you look at all the social media and videos floating around the place, people from the villages are, holding their firearms and flaunting and getting pictures with our security forces. If I'm the Minister for Police or the Minister for Defense, I will arrest that particular law enforcement officer who's there taking photos with his people in the village because he's actually partaking in that and promoting those behaviors. Deputy Speaker, it's not a joke anymore, Some of you live in those, flashy hotels and fly in and out of Australia, and you don't live in your villages, so you don't know what's happening in your villages. You think Papua New Guinea is Australia, Brisbane, or the casinos in Sydney. You people have to go to your villages. You people are float around those malls, some like in Taekwondo, the US now. You people don't look savvy, when something come up, no place. I hear some of you mentioning Bula Bula. I think Fiji is your country. Papua New Guinea is no longer your country. This is a problem. Some of you think that when I started raising this issue, you talk about Memblong Henga or Memblong Hela or those trouble fight infested areas. But no. In any illness, the weakest area is the first one that shows symptoms of illness. And that's where Enga and these other places are coming into view. It's a systemic illness that starts from here on this floor of Parliament. You start arresting members of Parliament, and then the nation will toe in line. When you have one set of laws protecting, the elites here on the floor, and when you have another set of law, being enforced on us, normal citizens, on our streets, that's when law and order starts to break. It starts in this house. I've been complaining, now that the police minister is inside, I've been complaining on this floor for 3 years now, my brother. It's quite difficult for you to arrest a simple man on the street in Wabag. Complaints have been made, so many PPCs have been addressed. I don't know what set of criteria you use to, performance appraise your PPCs in your own provinces. I think the most important one should be the rate of arrests. If we see the rate of crime increasing in a province, and if the rate of arrest doesn't commensurate with that rate, we should start taking those PPCs. But no God. My good minister, you are succumbing to leaders in this parliament and you are allowing them to appoint your PPCs. How much time me talking you now, me talking you again? They are not the police minister, you are the police minister. To the Speaker, one of the biggest factors that actually limit crime in any other nation or jurisdiction for that matter is the arrest. When you start arresting people, you start to have deterrence. And people start realizing because they're human beings. All money, all basavio, but you come arrest them also, they will start to stop. And that influence permeates the society and it starts to influence good behavior. Right now, we don't see any arrests. How you may expect him, law and order will thrive in country, please. You know, the fundamental role of a government is to protect its citizens. That's why when the ordinary people give their votes to us, when they consent to give their votes to us, they cast, certain rights are actually vested on us, like the right to violence and use of violence to enforce law and order. That right has been given to government. Yet our policemen and defense force have actually become, they have morphed into peace mediators. They go around and talk and talk. You are not supposed to go and talk. All man will survey us, you come up with some geli now. All but treating me with some geli. We are supposed to use force. The monopoly of force has been vested on the state, on the government. Plenty you complain of some people, some leaders will place make it work. We go and do our jobs. I'm telling you. We do our jobs. Unfortunately, the institutions of state.
Honorable Member, we have a point of order. Minister for Defense.
Sorry for disturbing, but I think it needs to be made very clear that PNGDF does not have any arresting powers while they're out there. They're only there to support the police. So, no good meeting was a defense tabla up, no can arrest him on man Mary. In a work long.
Honorable Minister, I think I have raised that concern before. I'll allow the member to go ahead.
All get talk time, all got him time, please. You blame talk now. Me bla foul game no make him talk when me bla no talk floor on parliament. Please, law and order and big problem. I'm outside lo me bla over the streets. I know, let alone our, our mothers, our daughters. It's quite difficult for them to live a normal life in this country. One of the fundamental roles of the government is to protect its citizens. And if we fail in that, we've actually lost our legitimacy as a legitimate government, Mr. Speaker. May I ask him again, please? Talk blom mibla and William size blom mibla. If the words we speak on the floor of Parliament would automatically translate to an action like God created the world, we would be living in that world of, our aspirations, in that utopian world we dream of. Unfortunately, Police Minister, now honorable line to you, Mr. Speaker, you block giving me assurance plenty time going. Assurance I'm no getting one black kaigeblen. I'm a simple man, I'm evading arrest for over 3 years. I'm so Muslim, government I'm faith. Please, you may address in law and order and big crisis inside the country now. It's in crisis. Places in Koropo. I went to school in Kerevat. Places like Koropo used to be very peaceful places. Very peaceful places. And if you see crime rates in Koropo increasing, that's an indictment on the government's ability to provide law and order and, provide governance for people. I don't know what measures you are using to measure your own success as a government. If the basic socio-economic indices, if the crime rates are actually down, plunging into habits, you have to relook again and address those issues. It's like economy, blood to go up 200 billion or something, it doesn't show on ground. Those figures are not commensurate with our socio-economic indices. We have to start taking a serious look at law and order. I've been raising this on this floor so many times and I'm, raising it again. Law and order, please. Let's address law and order. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Rabaul.
Yeah, thank you, Deputy Speaker, for looks how long people are about. Me like expressing one grievance in relation to the processing. This is in addition to what the Honorable Dr. Lino has been discussing. But I found the same. I found one particular procedure missing in the process of arrest in the police department, the police station in Rabaul district. When a person is arrested by the police, the next thing that should be done is a statement obtained from the criminal who's been arrested by the police, a record of interview. In many cases, this is not done, and the court cannot perform its function effectively without this statement or a record of interview. So in all the cases of arrest, you put him in a cell one night, next day you release them back into the free society where they reoffend. So the law and order issue continues to multiply. How do you address this? We need trained policemen who are able to sit down with an arrested offender, write a statement, and prepare him, process him for court. This knows what happened. I work law and order, law and order. You mean arresting all people? No one is there to process their statement. But you can't even go to court or someone. But this is what the procedure, the legal process is. We cannot, you mean not katim desala, burukim busasol na bring him go to court. The next thing the magistrate will ask for is, what's the statement? And then he acquits him for lack of evidence. So I think it's a place now. Maybe the police department have a different section there. Trained policemen who probably have gone through the training process at, say, Bomana, and who are interested in actually processing arrested offenders. They can take an additional course on a statement, how to write statements. So because in law, and that's what the courts look for, when a person is arrested and charged with a particular offense, what the magistrate will look for in the statement of facts is facts that will establish certain elements in the offense for which he has been charged. And if that is not there, he gets acquitted. So we need, I think, trained policemen who are arresting officers, or if they are not arresting officers, they are trained there to simply write out statements for offenders. I suppose it's a law, only no walking, me talking, you all members, honorable members. We can talk about law and order, and police arresting offenders,